to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the most listened to daily Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet.
Miami's got Dolphins, the greatest of all.
Come on, Dolphins fans. Time to fins up.
We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking to my ball. Cause we're the Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number one. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number one.
Good evening, Miami Dolphins fans. How are you today? And thank you for listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast on this Sunday evening, March the 9th. I am your host, Michael Leva, joined by my partner in crime, Tom Ernest, on this very busy Sunday night. It's really the eve of NFL free agency, legal tampering thing. People are just going to agree to deal. So this is the eve of free agency. Tom, how you doing?
Mike, I can't be better. It is really the start of the NFL offseason with tampering, which is just utter crap. It means you're making deals, you're talking, and these talks
just can't announce them
the
until later in the week. That's all it means.
Correct. Wednesday night, you'll have the officials for all the contracts that are already agreed to. So, I mean, and there's some smoke, Mike. There's a lot of smoke regarding the Miami Dolphins, and it seems like free agency already started with all these moves that are coming through.
Yeah, we're going to talk about all the moves with some of the other teams that happened on Sunday today as we record this on Sunday evening here at around 8:30 at night. We'll talk about some of the other big moves that took place, but there's also been a lot of, let's say, rumors and innuendo about the Dolphins and what they may do, especially one that broke late Sunday afternoon. We're going to get that here at the top of the show. But before we get to any of that, as always, have you gone to caneswear.com? And if not, why not? If you want the best Miami Dolphins apparel from anywhere, check out the website, caneswear.com. When it comes to Miami Dolphins hoodies, hats, shirts, sweatshirts, anything for the home with the Miami Dolphins apparel, something for your car with the Miami Dolphins apparel, caneswear.com is the place to go. And yes, they have stuff for the Florida Panthers. They have stuff for the Miami Heat. They have stuff for the Florida Marlins and, of course, the Miami Hurricanes and all of the college and all of the colleges in South Florida. But really, when it comes to Miami Dolphins gear, check out caneswear.com. And yes, they ship internationally as well. Also, if you haven't signed up yet for Dolphins Talk Extra, what are you waiting for? Go to patreon.com/DolphinsTalk. And if you sign up between now and Monday, the 24th of March, you are entered automatically into a contest to win a Tyreek Hill bobblehead doll. And it's very rare. Only 140 or 144 of them have been made. And what you also get with this platform at patreon.com/DolphinsTalk for only $3 a month. Bonus podcast, a private message board. You are automatically entered into all the contests we run. We're going to have a March Madness contest coming up soon when they release the brackets for another great prize. So sign up. It's only $3. We have a lot of shows, extra shows, not just on the free side when it comes to not just the Miami Dolphins, but also television, the NBA, other sports, pro wrestling, stuff like that. So go to patreon.com/DolphinsTalk. Okay. The news came out Sunday afternoon from Diana Rossini of The Athletic that the Miami Dolphins are going to have strong interest into Joey Bosa, who was just let go from the Chargers a few days ago. Joey Bosa still likes the idea of playing with his brother in San Francisco. They're still the clubhouse favorites to land him. So I'm guessing Miami's really going to have to blow him away with an offer if it comes down to Miami and San Francisco. They're going to have to beat that offer substantially to probably land him because I know he wants to play with his brother. There was some speculation that Joey Bosa might be using the Dolphins here to get more money out of San Francisco, and that might be the case. I don't know. But Joey Bosa, here's the deal. Great player, always injured. And that's like he fits the Miami Dolphins to a T, Tom. His father, John, was a first-round pick by the Dolphins in 1987 and was a bust. He just never really panned out. I think when he played 3 seasons for him, that was about it. But Joey Bosa, 3rd overall pick of the 2016 draft. And when he's healthy, he's great. but he's missed 23 games the past 3 seasons alone. He's played in 107 games total, started 83. Let me just run down, Tom, first before I let you talk some more about this. The games played starting from 2016 on. Here's how many he's played: 12, 16, 7, 16, 12, 16, 5, 9, 14. In this past year, he had 5 sacks in 14 games. Obviously, what you're paying for is the past 3 years: 5 games, 9 games, 14 games. It's a risk. If they go down that road, it's a risk, Tom.
It's a risk. Yeah, it would be a risk. I mean, we got the all IR pass rushing specialist in the NFL with Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, and potentially the addition of Joey Bosa. But the way I look at it is how much and how long. I think for Bosa, I think he might just be on a 1-year deal if he signs anywhere as a prove it, because based on his lack of playing time, and that obviously hurts his production, I could see this being only a 1-year deal, probably between 10 and $17 million is my guess. Really, it's about the guarantees, it's about the incentives. And then when he turns 30 next year, that will be his last potential big payday, where he would get a multi-year deal. So if you are the Dolphins and you really want Joey Bosa, you're just going to have to offer him multiple years on his contract, 2 to 3 year deal, probably keep it in the realm of 13 to 15 million, and then your guarantees, and then you're going to just stack incentives for him. That's really the only way you're going to do it. The 49ers, I feel like, are in a little bit of a soft reset. So adding Joey Bosa to play with Nick, that's a cool story. I just don't know if that's in the cards for the 49ers right now. They still have to pay their quarterback. And
can I interject real quick right here?
Yeah.
If they're in a soft reset, what the hell are we? We're in a perpetual reset. Just want to point that out.
It's a 25-year reset, Mike. We just get to this point, we reset to March, and we get excited again because the Dolphins are making moves. But no, they got to play Brock Purdy. There was another quarterback that signed for really big money, and Purdy's not in that class, but it's the going market for quarterbacks. So they've got a lot of decisions to make there, and I think for this season at least, I don't see them giving Joey a multi-year deal. Again, it might only be a 1-year deal, so if you're going to blow him away, make it a couple-year deal with some extra incentives, and you might be able to land him. I think, for who he is when he is on the football field, and this is a tired saying as a Dolphins fan, when he's on the football field, he's good. But that is the case with Joey Bosa. He's a disruptive pass rusher. He has been pretty damn good when he has been able to play more than 12 games. Just think of him like he's our Teron Armstead of defense.
Yeah. Yeah. And let me throw out a couple more things here, because when I hear this news, the first thing you ask yourself is you try to use logic. Like, why? What's the why here? It must mean something why they're after Joey Bosa. Because, if he wasn't someone who was always hurt and stuff, he'd be getting paid like a Max Crosby, like a Myles Garrett. But he is always hurt, so his value is not that by a mile. So why would Miami be interested? And there's 2 things that come to mind. Number one, Jalen Phillips is in the final year of his deal. He obviously had the Achilles, and now he's coming off an ACL. We all hope he can come back from this. We all hope he can be the same player, but we also know he got hurt in October. I think it was first, second week of October. That's pretty much a 12-month injury at least, or roughly in that neighborhood. When will he be ready for the 2025 season? He could be ready by week 1. I doubt it. That means he's coming back in like 10 or 11 months roughly from this injury. Or is this going to be something that sort of leads into November, where every week the media is asking Mike McDaniel, when's he coming back? How's he doing? When's he coming back? How's he doing? So, how much are you going to have him for this upcoming season? And what's his rehab been like? They obviously know what is going on. Has he had any setbacks in his rehab? Maybe something with Jalen Phillips that we don't know about, or that's been made public yet, is the reason they have interest in a Joey Bosa. The other thing is, Chubb just took this pay cut. He's here for this season. He's had three ACL injuries. Now he's coming off his third. Is he going to give you a full season? Can you count on him to give you a full season? Maybe their logic is, look, now we are paying Chubb so little money because we don't think he'll reach the incentives. Let's go pay Joey Bosa, and between the two of them, we'll get 17 games. Neither one of us will give us, as separate pieces, they won't give us 17 games. But if one gives you 10 and one gives you 7, well, then we got 17 games out of a pass rusher. It could be something as that type of math. And also, if you sign Joey Bosa, you're essentially ensuring Chubb's not going to hit those incentives where you have to pay him a lot more money because you're going to have a guy on the field, and Chubb might not be on the field as much. So this might be 3D chess here what the Dolphins are doing. And it might be something going on with Jalen Phillips. And it probably has something to do with Chubb having a third ACL injury as well. I don't know if they'll be able to get a Joey Bosa on a 1-year deal. I don't know. They're probably going to have to give him a multi-year deal to get him. We'll see.
That's what I'm thinking. If you're going to blow the 49ers out of the water, you got to do a multi-year deal with them.
And since you already got Chop, and if you're going to give him a multi-year deal, are you pretty much signaling this is the final year for Jalen Phillips? Because this all ties in hand in hand. They all play the same damn position at some point. So that's where this is. Now, a couple things here. Chris Greer at his end of year press conference, we often laugh at what he said a few years ago, saying you're more worried about the offensive line than we are. But he did say something equally as funny and it's not necessarily wrong, but it's like not something that I would say out loud in a press conference. He said that the injury rate in football is 100%. Well, yeah, guys get hurt all the time. All players get hurt. It's a brutal sport. But, some guys get injured like a Joey Bosa and miss a lot of games. Other guys get injured and they somehow find a way to play through it, or they don't get as injured as often. So it's like we all sit here and laugh like, here goes Chris Greer, find someone who's injured, got a ton of injury histories, he's going to pay him to bring him to Miami. But that's his MO. He loves these injury-prone guys that he thinks he can get at a discount. The problem is, though, Tom, they always live up to the title of injury-prone. They always get injured, and then you come mid-November, half the team's not there, and at the worst possible time because they're all hurt. Shocking, because you signed a bunch of injury-prone guys, and that's not an excuse. And that's the excuse he's lived off of for however long he's been the general manager. He just signs these injury-prone guys, and they get hurt. Shocking. They get that label for a reason. So if I'm Miami, look, I wouldn't do it. I don't care what the money is. Part of the Dolphins' problem is they're old and they're injury-prone. Not that he's necessarily old, Joey Bosa, but the injury-prone part scares me. Let's try and get younger. Let's try and get guys a little bit more durable. I don't think this is a perfect fit for the Dolphins. With that said, come one day this week, if they announce that it happens, I would not be shocked in the least because, once again, that's Chris Greer's MO.
Yes, it's his MO, and it's going to continue to be his MO because he's still in charge, and that's not going to change. Now, I do agree with your assessment and honest assessment on the edge rusher room outside of Chop Robinson. That you have Phillips, Chubb, and if you do add in Bosa, between the three of them, maybe you can combine for an entire season. But I will say this. If you do have that kind of plethora of pass rushers, you may not need them for 60, 70% of the snaps in a game. Now, will injuries happen? Of course. It's the Miami Dolphins. Injuries happen when players sneeze before they walk out on the football field. But I like the idea of if you do add him, okay? Let's play devil's advocate on this. If you do add him, now you have the ability to move Zach Sealer around. He could be your Calais Campbell type player where you can line him up on the edge or you can slide him to the inside. I also love the idea that you could take Chop Robinson, who played in the gaps at Penn State and was able to get after the quarterback when he lines up over a guard or a center. those guys are not ready for that type of bull rush that he provides and the type of speed he provides on the inside. So now you have the ability to also shift Chop Robinson inside on the defensive line on certain pass rushing downs if you desire to do so. So it opens up a little bit more. Now, I'm not saying Joey Bosa it would be a great signing. I think it's a good signing if you get him for the right dollar, because in the end of the day, you have a quarterback in the division that absolutely smacks us around every time we play him, and the reason is that you just can't get after him. So the Dolphins were 27th in sacks last year. You need to find some more pass rushers. If the money makes sense, good. If you overpay him, shame on you, but you can't be shocked that he overpaid for him. It is free agency at the end of the day, but I personally, get me Jonathan Allen in the interior, and let's call it a day.
Yeah, we'll see what they do here. Again, San Francisco is still the clubhouse leader. So, and I know he does want to play with his brother, and that would make sense. So we'll see what goes on. But this one sort of, and it came from Diana Rossini, who is one of the best in the business these days. So you have to take it very much seriously, because she is spot on with a lot of this stuff and very, very good. So when she says it, you do sort of stand up and listen. Before we get to the next one, yes, everyone, smash that like button, smash it for us, help us out right now. If you're watching live on YouTube, or even if you're watching on YouTube after the fact, smash that like button. If you do put a comment in the comments area, I will try to respond within, let's say within a day. So if you agree with what we say or don't, put up something in the comments. But yeah, smash that like button. We really do appreciate it. And if you want to leave us a super chat question, please do, and we will answer all of the super chats we get at the end of the show. Okay, another name that's sort of been linked to Miami some. Now, this also came from The Athletic, Mike Jones, NFL reporter, but this was a prediction article, so this is not official, that the Miami Dolphins will have interest in safety, and I'm going to try to say this name right. I know I'm probably going to get it wrong.
I got you if you can't.
Okay, Talanoa Hufanga.
You're close. You're close.
Okay,
it's
so
Talanoa Hufanga.
Okay, Talanoa Hufanga. Okay, close enough. Again, here's the deal. Miami's going to need a safety. Javon Holland's not coming back unless there's
three.
They need at least 3 safeties. But they really need 2 guys to start. Holland, unless there's a last minute shocker, he's not coming back. Now, much like Joey Bosa, the problem with Hufanga is here that he's always hurt. He's been in the league 4 seasons, only 1 full season ever, 2022. But that 2022, when he did play a full season, he was not only a Pro Bowler, but he was first team All-Pro. In 2023, he only played 10 games, and last year he only played in 7 games. Last year, those 7 games, 38 tackles, no interceptions. The big season, 2022, when he was out there the whole season, 97 tackles, 4 interceptions. So would he be one of the pieces, obviously, to replace Javon Holland? Yes. He's also sort of been linked to Houston because of the tie-in with D'Amico Ryans there as well. But it just, once again, good God almighty, Chris Grier just loves these injury-prone guys who just, and nice player. If we sign him with another proven safety, I'm not going to be mad. But, again, how much can you depend on this guy?
Your guess is as good as mine. I like when he plays. The problem when he gets injured, he plays with reckless abandon. The guy just flies all over the field with reckless abandon, and he throws his body around like he doesn't care. And, obviously that's part of the reason why he's been hurt for the last 2 years. Only playing in 17 total games in the last 2 seasons is not good. He played in 32 games in the first 2 years of his career. So, but he was also a rotational guy in his rookie season in 2021. So, again, the thought process is there. You need safeties because Javon Holland is walking out that door officially at probably midnight tonight. Javon Holland is going to be signing a massive
Noon tomorrow.
contract.
Noon tomorrow. It could be midnight tomorrow.
the deal's already in place. He's signing a massive deal with somebody, whoever that is. We don't know.
We're going to talk about that later because I got the teams interested.
Yes. So you need to add safeties to the room. 3 safeties preferably, because our defensive coordinator, Anthony Weaver, likes to play 3 safety looks. Dolphins need to get safeties in a hurry if you want to play this style of defense. So, yes, the draft is upon us, but this is the time where you see what the Dolphins do in free agency to see, do they have to go get a safety in the first 2 rounds of this draft, or really the first 3 rounds of this draft. But adding a guy like, I'm a big proponent of still testing the waters with Javon Holland just to see what the market is for him. And then you're just going to say goodbye. I'm sure they've already had those conversations, and the Dolphins have to prepare.
I think they're very much ready to move on from him.
Hufanga could be a good piece in Anthony Weaver's scheme. While he was in Baltimore, it wasn't his scheme. It was McDonald. But being a part of that, Kyle Hamilton was the guy that played the most percentage of snaps. I think he was close to 72%. But the other 3 safeties in the room were rotating in and out so much, they only played between 30 and 50% of the defensive snaps. So you want to have one guy you can truly rely on. I don't think Hufanga is going to be that guy. I think he's more of the rotational piece, and he's probably not going to cost a ton to get here. So it wouldn't be a bad move because you need bodies in the room, but I don't think he's the guy, in my opinion, to be like the Kyle Hamilton. I think that's draft. We're not going to talk draft tonight, but there's guys in the draft that can take that spot. I'm also a big proponent, if it's not Hufanga, Jeremy Chin would be a solid name. He revived his career a little bit last year in Washington after 2 abysmal seasons in Carolina after a really good rookie year. But he looks the part, and I think he could be one of those chess pieces in the back.
Yeah, the guys over at Spotrac, they have the safety market and what some guys are sort of expected to get on the open market. So again, this is just their analysis, but they're pretty good with this stuff with the contract. So for Hufanga, they expect a 3-year deal worth $11.9 million per season. In comparison, they expect Holland to get a 4-year deal, $15.1 million. Now, the two, I'm not excited if they go after Hufanga here. The guys I would like are Mulrig, Trayvon
Mulrig for sure, yeah,
from the Raiders. Now he's expected to get the most per year, a 3-year deal worth around $15.7 million per year. So that's 1 year less than Holland, but also 0.6 or about $600,000 less too. So 6.5 dozen the other. He's expected to get a lot of money. The 2 names I like a lot, and I think Miami could get them both. Andre Cisco from Jacksonville, 1 year, $10.8 million, something like that. Sign me up. I think Andre Cisco is a great player, and I would hopefully sign him for more than one. They just have a 1-year deal for $10.8 million. The other name from the Indianapolis Colts, Julian Blackmon, 3-year deal, $8 million per year. So I think he's a great strong safety. Cisco, a free safety. Those are 2 guys that you could probably get instead of paying, someone like Holland or even Mulrig. Those are 2 names I would keep an eye on there. There's some other guys out there. Justin Simmons is out there. Seems like he's been on the market for like 3 years in a row now, which I know is not the case, but just seems like he's always unsigned and teams are always talking about Justin Simmons. You have Justin Reed. I don't think he re-signed today, although he might have. I don't know. There's so many moves.
He's going to hit the open market, but Kansas City still wants him back.
Yeah, you got Richie Grant, Jeremy Chin, like you said, they expect him $6.1 million a year for 3 years. So those are some of the safeties out there. I wouldn't be excited for this guy. Again, this was just an article of predictions, and it does make sense based on 1, Chris Greer loves injury-prone guys, and 2, Miami has a huge need at safety. So you can throw a dart at this whole list. It's probably going to be one of these guys. So, yeah, I could see it, but we'll see what happens there. Safety and corner are going to be huge for Miami. And I think though they're going to make signings this week, and I think safety and corner are going to be some of the earlier signings they make, but we'll talk about that more here in the next section. But before we get to that, quick shout out to everyone listening at finheaven.com. Everyone go to finheaven.com, largest Miami Dolphins message board on the internet. Also, a shout out to everyone listening at the I Am Your Miami Dolphins fan Facebook page. If you're on Facebook, please be sure you are part of the I Am Your Miami Dolphins fan Facebook page. And wherever you're listening to this podcast, whether it's Apple Podcast, Spotify, Podbean, Podchaser, iHeartRadio, Audible, or of course YouTube, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Smash that like button on YouTube because we're going to have shows pretty much every day this week. There's going to be a ton of news. It's coming fast and furious, and we expect the Miami Dolphins to be at least, they might not make a move every day. That seems a bit unrealistic, but they're going to be rumors like this with Joey Bosa, and they're in on this guy, and this guy's going to be flying down here for a visit later in the week. There's going to be so much news. You don't want to miss an episode of the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, so make sure whichever platform you're listening on, subscribe to that channel so when a new show drops, you're notified on your smart device. Okay, let's get to some other tidbits here from news tied in with the Dolphins and some other news just all around the league. Let's start with Javon Holland, sort of clean this up. Earlier this past week, Cameron Wolf of the NFL Network said the Panthers and the Titans are two teams to keep an eye on. They still are. But also Jets beat reporter Connor Hughes, who's also very, very good. He's been covering the Jets for a long time, says the Jets also are going to be very much interested in on Holland. Antoine Staley, who also covers the Jets for the New York Daily News, told me that like a month ago. So the Jets are going to be in big on Holland as well as the Panthers and Titans. And again, I think Holland's worn out his welcome in Miami, not just for stuff that happened on the field, but for stuff off the field. I just think I'd be stunned. My jaw would hit the floor if there was a last minute offer made or if they agreed to terms. So, okay. So I think Tom has to, Tom's got to leave us here for a minute. So I'll be doing this solo from here on out. Tommy, good luck. I know you got a family thing.
Yeah.
So right. I'll be flying solo. So you take care, Tom.
Right,
say goodbye to the people.
Hey, goodbye to the people. I will. We'll be doing shows this week for sure. I'll be on again. We'll be talking free agency, but I have an emergency I have to get to.
All right. See you, Tom.
See ya.
All right. So flying solo. Let me just get this here. Bada bing. Okay. So the other name to keep an eye on for Miami, which I know there's a lot of teams going to be interested in this guy, is Byron Murphy, the cornerback from Minnesota. Miami needs cornerbacks. I know there's been some, say, a little bit of smoke that Miami might be interested because outside of Ramsey, Miami has nothing at corner. I know they put the tender on Kader Kohu, so we'll see how that plays out. They have the right of first refusal with him, so if a team does blow him away, I wouldn't expect Miami to go nuts to keep Kader Kohu. If the deal is somewhat reasonable, then I would expect Miami to match any offer he gets, if he gets any offers. So even with Kader Kohu is sort of your nickel corner, which he is okay in that role. He's fine. I'm just not a huge fan. Miami's got nothing to corner, so if they did go all in on someone like a Byron Murphy from the Vikings, I would not be shocked. At least they need to address number 2 corner. Cam Smith cannot be counted on. You really don't want to go back to the draft where Chris Greer has just had miserable luck with guys like Noah Igbenogany and Cam Smith. So keep an eye on Murphy. Now, I know the Raiders have a ton of interest in him, and they got way more money to spend than Miami. So if it comes down to that, he's going to end up with the Raiders because they got more money, but you never know. And I expect Miami to be in on corners this week and next. So Murphy's just one name to keep an eye on. Now, there's also a lot of smoke around Jimmy Garoppolo as coming in as the Miami Dolphins number 2 quarterback. There's, in the past 2 to 3 weeks, there's been a lot of Marcus Mariota talk, and I totally understand why. From Hawaii, friends with Tua, the whole 9 yards, we get it. Jimmy Garoppolo as a player, though, is a much better fit for what Miami does on offense. He comes, he knows that San Francisco offense. He knows that Sean McVay offense, which is essentially what Mike McDaniel runs. It's the same concepts, so he knows that offense. Here's the problem. Tua Tagovailoa is an injury-prone quarterback. That's why we have to invest more in a number 2 quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo is injury-prone as well. And I don't know if you want your number 2 quarterback to be as injury prone as your starter, because if or when Tua gets injured and he's out for 4 or 5 or 6 games, like he typically always is, your number 2 quarterback just might run out there, and within 1 or 2 games, he might be injured too. So I don't know if you want your number 2 quarterback to have injury issues. But from a scheme fit, he's like the perfect number 2 quarterback. He's a guy who took San Francisco to a Super Bowl a few years back. He's a guy who knows the offense, will be a good fit, but he like our starter, he can't stay on the field. So if they sign him, I get it. I don't think it's going to cost a ton. He's not someone who, he's someone who knows this offense. But from a big picture type thing, I don't want my backup quarterback to be injury prone as well. And that's kind of what he is. So we'll see there. Also, so Monday at noon, we'll start to hear, this team has agreed to terms with this team, but it can't be made official till whatever it is, Wednesday or Thursday. And this team agreed. I just want to warn fans of the Dolphins. You got to relax. Every signing can't be an offensive lineman. And just because at first, if they sign, say, or if they announce a signing with, say, a safety, a linebacker, and a corner, and they don't announce an offensive line signing in the first, week, chill. They know they have to address the offensive line. Mike McDaniel said so at the combine. He even said there's guys that we're targeting. We're going to use the draft and free agency to address the offense. They know. That doesn't mean you have to sign someone the first week. They might sign other guys the first week and then circle back to offensive line, maybe later this upcoming week, maybe week 2, maybe week 3. So you can't flip out. Just because they sign a safety, you go, well, they're ignoring the offensive line. No, they're not. If we get to after the draft and they've done nothing to address the offensive line, then you can throw your hissy fit. Then you can flip out. You have permission. But I'll even give you permission, like I can give you permission, to flip out, in 2 to 3 weeks if they've done nothing on the offensive line. But they can't, just put every other thing on hold while they wait to see which offensive lineman they can possibly sign. So everyone take a deep breath come Monday at noon when this news starts to come fast and furious. Everyone knows the offensive line has to be addressed. But that doesn't mean they can't announce 4 or 5 other signings before they get to the offensive line. Because this team has nothing on defense. Like I said, they got no safeties on this team outside of Patrick McMorris. They got 1 cornerback in Jalen Ramsey. They have 1 linebacker that you trust in Jordan Brooks. Zach Sealer is the only lineman on the defensive line right now. So they need to get guys out in those spots just as much as they need offensive guard. They know guard's important. They've said so. Unlike years past where they've left. They're more worried about that. They're not doing that this year. So just everyone got to relax. It's because the offensive line signings might not be announced first. Just everyone's got to just take a deep breath. I know this week fans are going to be like in panic mode with all this stuff. Okay. Couple things here. Some of the news from Sunday. Well, one thing from Saturday. I want to offer my condolences to Kyle McCord, the quarterback out of Syracuse who was about to enter this draft and get picked at some point. I'm a big Kyle McCord fan. See, I'm even wearing my little Syracuse sweatshirt tonight. Colin Cowherd went on his show, I think Friday or Saturday, said he believes Kyle McCord has a potential to be the best quarterback in this entire draft. He'll be better than Sanders, better than Ward. That is the ultimate kiss of death. When Colin Cowherd said, you are going to be better than any quarterback in this draft, Kyle, he just put the kiss of death on you. And unfortunately, now there's no chance of that happening because Colin Cowherd's like never right on this stuff anytime he says this stuff. So, yeah, there's that. Devontae Adams signed with the Rams on Sunday today. To me, that's a sign that the Rams just want Cooper Kupp gone so bad because Puka Nacua ain't going nowhere. They just paid Adams. Cooper Kupp's been on the trade block. He makes a ton of money. Cooper Kupp is going to get pretty much traded for like a 2026 7th round pick at this point. Whichever team wants to take on his contract pretty much have him for next to nothing, because you don't make this move for Adams unless you plan on just moving Cooper Kupp. And if there isn't a team out there who will trade for him, then they're going to have to release him either pre-June 1st or with a post-June 1st deal. But Cooper Kupp's going to be out there. Not that much. Look, I'm saying this stuff. None of this stuff has anything to do with the Dolphins. I'm just talking about the news of the day. But Cooper Kupp's going to be out there because once the Rams signed Adams to pair up with Puka, he's gone. The big trade, Seattle traded a second-round pick, and there's some other small like pick swaps too. No, they traded Metcalf to Pittsburgh for a second-round pick. So the Pittsburgh Steelers now, in my opinion, have probably the best wide receiver tandem, or maybe one of. I mean, Cincinnati, if they can keep them both, probably is the best. Philadelphia's up there. If they can keep T. Higgins and Chase, that's probably the best tandem. You got A.J. Brown and Philadelphia with Devonta. I mean, that's right there. But Metcalf and George Pickens in Pittsburgh, that's scary. Those are two guys with size and speed, and they're just awesome players. Metcalf also got a 5-year, $150 million contract with this trade from Pittsburgh. So the Pittsburgh Steelers now there's rumblings. What are they going to do at quarterback? This is where it gets interesting. Pittsburgh, they said Pittsburgh's going to make an offer to Sam Darnold. And if he says no, which everyone expects, because he's going to go to Seattle because their new offensive coordinator was his quarterback's coach in San Francisco. So they all expect Sam Darnold to go to Seattle, but they're going to make him an offer and try, which I don't blame. They should try. But if he says no, they're probably going to pivot and re-sign Justin Fields. Now, if Sam Darnold says yes to Pittsburgh, then Justin Fields is on the market. And from all the reporters who cover the Jets, they expect Justin Fields to be in the Jets uniform to be their starting quarterback should he not stay in Pittsburgh. So it sounds like Justin Fields, it's either Pittsburgh or the Jets. Sam Darnold, it's either Seattle or Pittsburgh, and that's going to shake out one way or another there. So we'll keep an eye on that this week here in the next few days. Sam Darnold, I fully expect, though, to go to Seattle, because if you are Seattle, you're not making that trade, trading away Geno Smith, if you don't know Sam Darnold is in your back pocket and coming. Otherwise, you wait, sign Sam Darnold, then trade Geno Smith. You don't trade him first unless you know for sure Sam Darnold's coming. So there's that there. Myles Garrett, he became the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. The Browns threw a bunch of money at him. As I have said since this story kind of broke, where Myles Garrett wants to be traded. Folks, just because a player says something doesn't mean it's going to happen. Once again, go back in time for those of you who are old enough. Dan Marino told the Dolphins he wanted to be traded. Don Shula laughed and said, "That's cute. Go on the practice field. I'll see you in a half hour when practice starts." Just because a player says they want to be traded doesn't mean the team has to do a goddamn thing. Okay? Myles Garrett was never getting traded. The Browns were never going to trade him. And here's the deal. Myles Garrett, spoiler alert, Myles Garrett never wanted to be traded. He just wanted more money. And once the Browns threw more money at him, guess what? He's happy to stay in Cleveland. This was a ploy for money from the start, and I am shocked. So many fans fell for it. I am shocked. So many people in the media played along with this. This was just a ploy for money. If you looked at the salary cap hit, it was common sense. They couldn't trade Myles Garrett even if they wanted to. And this was Myles Garrett just wanting more money. So he's going to stay in Cleveland, and now he also has a no trade clause either. So the fact the Browns can't trade him unless he agrees. Lessons learned from this. A, just because a player says he wants something doesn't mean the team has to do it. And B, it's always about money. I want to play for a winner. Like, here's Metcalf. He wants to play for a winner in a warm weather climate. They sent him to Pittsburgh where it snows 8 months out of the year. I mean, just because they say it doesn't mean, I mean NFL players, just because they say it doesn't mean it's true at the end of the day. Sometimes you just say a lot of stuff to get interest in what you want to happen. So I think that's there's been some other signs. I know Jarrett Stidham re-signed with the Broncos to be their number 2 quarterback. So I mean, Zach Wilson for sure won't be going back to the Broncos. There's just been so much news, but I think that's pretty much all the big stuff. Here, I can just go off Adam Schefter's, see if he's got anything since I started recording this. Josh Allen got a mega deal from the Bills. A new record-setting 6-year, $330 million contract that includes $250 million guaranteed, the largest guarantee ever to an NFL player. So Josh Allen ain't going. He will continue to torment the Miami Dolphins for the rest of his career. Austin Hooper re-signed with New England on a 1-year deal, $5 million with a max value of $7 million. He's someone I actually like for Miami a little bit to come in and be that number 2 tight end, but he's going to stay with the Patriots. Jamie Sherwood re-signed with the Jets, a 3-year deal for $45 million, $30 million, fully guaranteed. Running back Aaron Jones re-signed with the Vikings on a 2-year deal, $20 million, $13 million guaranteed there. And the Lions released or are about to release pass rusher Zadarius Smith. I'd rather have him over Joey Bosa, I'm not going to lie. Linebacker Nick Bolton re-signed with the Chiefs, 3-year, $45 million, $30 million guaranteed there. So there's just a lot going on. News is going to break fast and furious. Keep checking out the website, DolphinsTalk.com. We'll keep you up to date on all of it this week, especially when it comes to the Dolphins and all the news and rumors that are out there about them. You're not going to want to miss that. Make sure you're following us on social media on Twitter, X, at Dolphins Talk, also at Blue Sky, on Threads, on Instagram, and on TikTok at Dolphins Talk as well. What else? I've been putting up a ton of new TikTok videos and a ton of new YouTube shorts. So again, if you're not subscribed to the Dolphins Talk YouTube channel, please do. We have a ton of content there. Like Tom said, we're going to have shows pretty much every day this week as news breaks. So be on the lookout for that as well. Everyone, have a great Sunday night. We'll talk to you again after a while. And folks, don't forget, we must put an end to highway profanity.